Sorry, I was just finishing my Words with Friends game. It's the truth, too.
Right.
Don't listen to a word you say. I'm not a nice guy. I'm going to prove you wrong right now.
Great. During the course of this panel. Okay, so how are you at Words with Friends, though? Are you a good player?
I'm not going to brag, but I'm actually, well, I was going to say I'm better at Words with Friends than I was at wrestling, but I wasn't a very good wrestler either, so that doesn't, I don't know, feel sorry for me.
I think a lot of us would disagree with that because I think you're an incredible wrestler.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us here in
Yeah.
Louisville.
Louisville,
Yeah, I'm still trying to get that down, the pronunciation of it.
not Louisville.
I don't,
I
Louisville?
called it Louisville once in a promo. We were doing the 5-second pose and got a good boo. Really, you get mad at Louisville? I mean, that's taking it a little personal.
Should we try it? Louisville?
Yeah. Uh-huh. See? You're a heel.
Heel turn.
Yeah.
Moderator heel turn.
And I'm the bad guy. All right.
So out of curiosity, like, who came up with the 5-second pose thing, and how did that all come to be?
Yeah, so when we first started teaming, Edge and I, we were coming through the crowd being all mysterious, you know, like we don't have a locker room, we just walk in straight from the parking lot, through the doors, down through the crowd. When in actuality, they would find an elevator to take us up a level, and security would take us through the main concourse where people were walking in with their, you know, popcorn and drinks or whatever it was. We walk right past them, people were like, what? And then, you know, we'd have to go down through it. It was hard to do. Like, it was a cool entrance, and it looked cool. But, you know, people are grabbing you and pushing you, and it can be difficult. So we were starting to have a turn we just started talking, and we were being allowed to be more of ourselves and cut promos and things like that, and we were starting to get a good connection with the audience, and we're starting to feud with the Hardy Boys. We were both kind of good guys, so we were kind of starting to turn a little bit, and we decided it was a good way to really kind of put a button in that with saying we're not going to come through the crowd anymore. You can't touch us. You can't get that close to us. But because we're nice guys, we'll still give you 5 seconds to just take your pictures or do whatever you want. And that's kind of how it morphed. And we were just going to do it one night, and it kind of stuck. And we started to go whatever city we went to, like Louisville. We would,
Boo!
you know, we would come up with something local and make it fun.
I think one of the coolest things is that, well, my best friend is here this weekend, and I think it's so cool.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We did the
Well, go
jug
ahead.
band in Louisville.
The
Yeah,
what?
with the teeth, the Bubba teeth, and yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Oh,
off.
no, it's okay. Heel turn. No, I was going to say, so my best friend is here this weekend, and I think it's really cool that you got to, you know, go on this journey with one of your best friends. And what was that like, getting to go on this wrestling journey with Edge?
That's all right. Seriously, just all right. No, it was fun. I mean, we grew up as kids in a small town just outside Toronto, Canada, and you know, we became friends basically because of wrestling. We were both wrestling fans, and I'd moved to the town that he was in 6th grade, and we kind of hit it off right away. And, you know, we would just sit in my side yard, and we'd talk about wrestling, and Adam was a very good artist, so he would draw pictures of us in, like, tag team outfits with tag team names and all these sorts of things. We would, my dad had this old weightlifting belt, so we would, you know, I took this weightlifting belt, it was thick at the back and kind of narrow at the front, and I was like, if you spin this around, it kind of looks like a championship belt, right? So we went and got some Bristol board, which is like thick cardboard, and we'd stencil in world champion, and then we took hockey tape and taped it around the thing and put it on our waist, so we had our title. And we would, you know, we would sit there with we'd steal notebooks from school, and we'd bring them home and we'd write up dream matches that we thought would never happen, and like Hulk Hogan when he was champion against AWA Scott Hall, or you know, just whoever you could think of that was in a different promotion at the time. We would write these matches down, and then we would, in my basement, we'd clear out all the furniture, and I don't condone doing this at home. Please don't. But we would act out the matches, and then we'd record who won it, and so that's how far back we go, and we were just infatuated with wrestling, and we would go down to the old Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, and it was this old arena where there was no inside parking, so the wrestlers had to park on the street, and we figured out where they parked, and we would just stand back there and wait for them to to come out, show up with their cars and stuff like that. And this one time, I'm going on a rant here, by the way. I'm just doing my own thing.
This is your show, Christian.
Yeah. So this one time, Demolition. Everybody remember Demolition?
Of course.
So there was when there was 3 of them, Axe, Smash, and Crush. And after the show, Adam and I were standing out back, and Adam was standing by the trunk. Smash was loading the bags in the trunk, and Crush was in the front seat. And I think Axe was standing outside too for some reason. But the driver's side door was open. So I'm standing there, and I'm like, I think I'm going to jump in this car with Crush. Seemed like a good idea at the time, right? I was like 12. This guy's like 6'8", 340 pounds, like one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen in my life. So I jump in the car with him, and he turns around and he just does one of these. He goes, but to his credit, and he and I became friends years later. He's like, "Hey man, what's up?" And I didn't know what to say. I was in there now, right? So now I'm in it. And I got to think of something. So I go, sorry you lost tonight. And he goes, yeah, we'll get him next time. Don't worry about it. And so like I used to collect all like this is before internet, and you had all this information at your fingertips. You know, I collected wrestling magazines, and I had stacks of wrestling magazines in my bedroom. And I knew that his real name was Brian Adams, and then he wrestled in Portland, and he was the champion, and he feuded with Rip Oliver and did all these things. So I started talking to him about that. I was like, your real name's Brian Adams, right? And you wrestled in Oregon, you're the champion, and you feuded with Rip. And he's looking at me, he's like, do you like know everything? Or, and I was like, well, I read all the magazines, and I was like super excited about it. And then this other kid sees me in the car, and now he thinks he's gonna steal my heat, right? So he tries to stick his head, he's like, who's Battle Cat? Who's Battle Cat? So I pie-faced the guy out of the car, and I go, he's Brady Boone, man. Come on. And I turn around, and Crush is like, seriously, do you know everything? And so anyway, Smash came around, and then he's like, all right, man. He goes, looks like it's the end of the line. Thanks for the ride, or something like that. I said, yeah. So I jump out. Years later, I moved to Florida, wrestling for WWE. He's wrestling for WCW. I'm rushing to get on this flight, like super late, sweating. I jump on the plane, I sit in my seat, and I'm like, oh, I made it. All of a sudden, I feel this nudge from across the aisle. I turn around, it's Brian Adams.
No way.
And he goes, hey, man, what's up? Same thing he said to me before. I said, hey, how you doing? He goes, I'm a really big fan of your work. And I was like, oh, man, thanks. I'm a big fan of yours as well. So we start small talk, and then I tell him the story. And he's looking at me, he's like, that was in Toronto, right? And I went, yeah. He goes, I remember that.
Oh, my God.
He goes, I remember thinking, the balls on this kid to jump in this car with me. And and then he goes, man, so we laughed about it for a few minutes, and he goes, man, that's a good story. And F you. I don't want to say the word because there's children here, and I'm a nice guy. Wow. And I was like, what? He goes, for making me feel old. But we became really good friends after that, and he's legit one of the nicest guys that I've ever met. So that was just a funny story. Anyway, so that happened when we would go to Maple Leaf Gardens. We would get the same seats every time right along the aisle. It was like the 7th row on the floor, and we could, high-five all the wrestlers. I'll never forget Kerry Von Erich, when he was the Intercontinental Champion, came by, and he saw us cheering for him, and he came over and he held the Intercontinental title up to us, and we, had our hands on it. And I remember thinking after, I was like, oh, my God, I just touched the Intercontinental Championship. And then to go on and become a 4-time Intercontinental Champion, it's pretty cool. It's like I had this dream, we both had this dream when we were kids that we were going to do this. And we made it, and we worked our asses off to do it, and it was hard work, but we both did it, and I think it's pretty cool. And to get to do it with your best friend, especially coming from such a small town like we did, it's kind of unheard of, but it's a great story. And yeah, it was good to have that, the support of each other too, to go and help each other. I don't know if either one of us would have went as far as we did if we didn't have each other to rely on. So
Wow, that's an incredible story.
I'm pretty good at storytelling.
I was going to say.
I just made that whole thing up.
That would have been very impressive. Okay, since we are talking about how incredible your story is, let's say that they were going to make a movie about your life. Who would play Christian in the movie?
All right, I got a funny story.
Okay.
So I get told probably at least once every 6 weeks, and that's pretty specific, that I look like Dennis Quaid. I don't personally see it, but I get it. I'm not kidding. I get it all the time.
Better than Randy Quaid, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had tore my pectoral muscle. I was in Birmingham, Alabama, getting surgery. So I was there for a couple days. I'm flying home. I'm all strapped in. I'm in pain. dreading that I have this connection because there's no direct flights. So I'm sitting in the airport like this, and like I see this lady staring at me, and I'm like trying to look away, and I look back, and I'm like, oh man, okay, here we go. And she says, "Excuse me," and I go, "Yeah." She says, "Are you who I think you are?" And I said, "Well, I mean, I guess it depends on who you think I am." She goes, "Are you Dennis Quaid?" I said, "No, I'm not Dennis Quaid. I think he's like 20 years older than me." I said, "But I have been told I look like Christian from WWE." And then she looks me up and down, and she goes, "Yeah, I guess I could see that."
What?
And turns around. So I think Dennis Quaid's is too old. I don't know. Who do you think we should? I don't know. Are we talking younger me?
Yeah. Who's like an upcoming actor right now? Because we need an A-lister for the Christian.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Any suggestions? No? Okay, great.
I don't know.
It's going really. Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, well, we're the same age, I think.
Okay, we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. I've been told Val Kilmer a few times too, but whatever. I don't like to brag.
Okay, so
I was also told Screech from Saved by the Bell, so now we'll just even it out. Not really, but
today someone's going to come, you look like that Screech guy. No. All right, so.
am I the only one that knows all the lyrics to the Saved by the Bell theme song?
No.
You know it?
Should we sing it?
You want to sing it together?
Ready?
Well, he's going to come up and sing it with us.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, you don't have to.
Do you want, this is your moment.
You don't-
You got to seize the moment, friend. It's okay.
That's all right. I've botched a lot of things in my life.
We'll put you on Botchamania. Come
I'm
on.
used to carrying people. Don't worry. All right. What's your name, man? Aaron, pleasure, man. How are you? I like your shirt. It's pretty sick. All right. You ready?
No.
You better be. Here we go.
I'm going to freeze up.
It's okay.
Are we all going?
Yeah.
Okay. When I wake up in the morning, and I don't think I'll ever make it on time. By the time I grab my books and I give myself a look, I'm at the corner just in time to see the bus fly by. It's alright, cause I'm saved by the. It's alright, cause I'm saved by the. It's alright, cause I'm saved by the bell. Awesome, man. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. You carried me. I don't know what you're talking about.
We missed the second verse, but that's okay.
Yeah.
No one needs.
Because that's what is it? When I wake up in the morning and the alarm at summer.
And I know I'm in a
Oh,
mood, and the dog ate all my homework.
Oh, man, that's the extended version.
I'm riding low on my chair,
I think we did a pretty good job.
That was fantastic. Thank you for being so brave.
Riding low on my chair, she won't know that I'm there. If I could hand it in tomorrow, it'll be all right. Are Saved by the Bell people here today? Or this weekend?
I don't believe so, no.
Man, that'd be awesome if they were.
Have you ever met them before?
Yeah. I met Mark Paul Gosselaar actually in Lexington, and I geeked out. Yeah, I met Screech before, and he was kind of a jerk to me.
Oh my, do you have some tea you want to spill?
Not really. I don't know. Should I tell this Screech story?
Absolutely. We're not filming.
All right, so we're at WrestleMania in Anaheim. Funny story. And backstage, and Edge and I are standing there, and I see Screech. So I see him there. I'm like, oh, man, I got to say hi to him. Big Saved by the Bell fan. So he walks by. I'm like, Screech, what's up, man? And he looks at me and goes, I said, I'm a big fan. He goes, yeah, and turns his head. So Edge, being the calm man that he is, says, hey, he's not being I'll keep it clean. He's not being a jerk. He's a big fan of the show. He's trying to be nice to you. And he goes, oh, man, sorry, I thought you were making fun of me. And I was like, well, maybe I should have called you Dustin instead of Screech, but let's be honest here. So I was like, no, man. So I said, sorry, I'm a big fan of the show, whatever. So we talk, chat. He was telling me that he was auditioning for Scooby-Doo at the time, and he did the whole Scooby-Doo walk. He actually had it down pretty good. He did a good Shaggy. He was auditioning for Shaggy. Didn't get the part case you're wondering. Uh, so, yeah, so that happened. And then we had a show in L.A. Like 2 days later, I'm taking a red-eye home through Atlanta. I jump on the plane. As I'm putting my bags up, I turn around. Who do I see sitting there? Yeah, Mr. Belding. Not even kidding. I go, oh, my God, excuse me, Mr. Belding? This is so crazy. I just saw Screech 2 days ago. And he looks at me. He's like, Dustin? I said, yeah. I said, he was backstage at our show. I'm a wrestler. Kind of a big deal, whatever. No, I didn't say it. I was like, I said, I'm a wrestler. With WWE. He goes, and then he goes, oh, I know Bill Goldberg. And then we just started having small talk. And then, like, yeah. So that's what I say by the Bell story.
Screech stories.
I guess it wasn't that funny. I thought it was funnier in my head, but whatever.
I enjoyed it. I think we enjoyed it. All right. So we do have a microphone that's located right over there. So now's your chance for whatever questions you may have for Christian. Any willing first victims? I see you're getting up.
Look at this guy.
Come on, buddy.
Look at him. Right there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Nice. I think that's my first cosplay ever. We're going to have to take a picture together. Yeah. I'm going to charge you for it, but we're going to take a picture.
So some of us have seen you on WWE Backstage recently. Did you know?
Whoa, this is crazy. I didn't even see the microphone there. I was like, how is he projecting his voice like this because of the light? I was like, whoa, this guy's a DJ.
It's magic.
Yeah,
magic.
sorry. I didn't mean to
So we saw you on WWE
Hey.
Backstage lately. Did you know CM Punk was coming back?
I had no clue. I wasn't there that week, obviously. I had no clue. From what I understand, I haven't talked to anybody that was there since I've done it. But from what I understand, nobody, I think maybe Renee knew, but I don't think anybody else knew. So you couldn't tell they were surprised? I think they were shocked.
Do you think CM Punk will ever do another run, or do you think he's just sticking with Fox for now?
I don't know. I think, my opinion, I think he'll wrestle again. It's my opinion, though. Okay. But I haven't talked to him in years, so I don't really know where he's at in his life. But if you're asking my opinion, I think he will. I don't think it'd be like a full-time thing, but whatever. If he doesn't, he doesn't, you know?
Yeah. Right here? Hi, Christian. I just wanted to know, where did you come up with the name Peeps for your fans?
So what happened was we do stupid stuff backstage, right, to entertain ourselves. Just because you're on the road so much. So we would just like come up with these dumb sayings, and they'd kind of run their course, and then we'd move on to the next thing. I'm like, hey, who you traveling with? Yeah, I'm traveling with Hurricane. Yeah, he's my peeps. You know, and like we just joke around like, oh yeah, don't worry, but they're my peeps. Don't worry. Like just like dumb stuff, right? Like, so I was doing this promo, and it was when The Rock was going away to do movies, and I was going out to confront Bill Goldberg on behalf of The Rock, and they wanted me to say something about being like the people's champion. I can't remember exactly what the line was, but I was like, oh man, I want to go out there and like call myself, like you can't call yourself the people's champion, right? Like when The Rock is, you know, the people's champion. So I was racking my brain, like thinking, how could I, you know, get something similar, but, you know, not completely ripping off his, you know, the most over wrestler at the time, you know? So, when I went out there, and then like crowd was just going crazy, like nuts. The crowd was going crazy. Trust me when I tell you, the crowd was just going insane when I was out there. And and the so I was delivering my promo, and then like just hit me, like, and I said, you know, because I'm so close to the, I think it was supposed to something like, because I'm so close to the people, and I'm the new people's champion or something to that effect. But I ended up saying, because I'm so close to whatever, and I said, you know, these are all my peeps, or something like that, something to that effect. And I guess everybody kind of laughed backstage, and I got a text message, I'm really popular.
Is it from Dustin Diamond?
Yes, it is. It says, stop talking. Shh. He's waiting for me outside. No, yeah. So then, like, I guess people laugh backstage or whatever, and they're like, so the next week when I showed up to TV, I go out for whatever it was I was doing, and I remember looking up, and I saw a row of people, and they had this huge sign. They each were holding up a letter, and it said, "We're Christian's peeps." And And I was like, all right, we got something here. And then I just kind of went from there.
Out of curiosity, do you like the Peeps marshmallows at all?
I didn't even know there were Peeps marshmallows when I said it. People always were bringing them to me. I was like, why are people bringing me these things? Like, I know I'm skinny, but I'm not that skinny, am I? Fat me up.
Is there any particular wrestlers that are like up and coming that impress you, like say an Adam Cole or even like an MJF?
Not really.
Dang.
Think I'm kidding? No, I'm joking. No, yeah, of course. I actually am a big Adam Cole fan. I think he's great. And I think when you have in-ring talent like he does, and plus the verbal ability to connect with the audience, which I think helps take you to another level. And he's very comfortable on the microphone, and I think there's a real difference with when you can tell somebody's completely comfortable in what they're delivering. It flows naturally. It doesn't sound like they're trying to, recite lines or they're trying to remember what they were going to say. It just comes naturally. It doesn't sound like they're yelling at you like, oh, man, there's a time and a place for that kind of stuff. When it's conversational, when you believe in what you're saying, when you have conviction, to me, that's more powerful, and I think he has that. And because he has that and the ability in the ring, I think he's going to go, pretty far. I haven't seen much of the MJF. Yeah, I've seen little clips, but I haven't seen like a match or anything like that. But from what I heard, he's pretty good. Yeah, I like Matt Riddle. I think he has a really different style. Yeah, I mean, there's so many up and coming. Good question. Yeah.
Thank you. I like your shirt, man. It's pretty cool. Thank you. How's it going, Christian?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
I know Louisville thanks you for coming here instead of Cincinnati. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you already answered this or not, but
I have a question for you first.
Yeah.
Why do you put chili on spaghetti?
You know what? The best answer for that. Check out Skyline Chili up there in Cincinnati.
I'm not judging.
All right.
I just asking why. Like,
why? I'm not quite sure, but I mean, it is delicious. Thank you.
I know.
Yes.
I bet you it is.
Yes.
Who's bringing me a plate tomorrow? That's the question.
Hey, I'll try to do my best.
I'm just kidding. Sorry, man. I didn't make
No, you're good. You're good. But what is your most memorable moment, either as a tag team with Edge and yourself, or just by yourself? Like, what was your best moment ever?
Well, I think that I always try to compartmentalize my career into two, like tag team singles. So, obviously, when you're speaking of tag team, I think the first ladder match with the Hardys, because lightning in a bottle, right? Like that match took us from being the new guys that were there to we became superstars overnight. And, we had a standing ovation after the match. We had a standing ovation the next night, which is unheard of for guys of just coming in the way that we were. And so that moment, that match, and I still remember, like I said, coming up through the crowd. Like they took us up the match before, and we were sitting behind a concession stand. They're out there serving popcorn and drinks, and we're in there with these boxes and empty cups and stuff like that, and it was hot, and I was sweating, and I could hear the crowd, and I was just trying to get in the right headspace to go out there and do this, not realizing that we were going to change the game that night. And then we throw in the Dudleys after that, and we had Magic, right? So I think, and then like I said, two little kids growing up wanted to be tag team champions, and we did that as well at WrestleMania. So, and I think as a singles, obviously, winning the world championship for the first time is huge. I mean, that's what sometimes some people never even get that opportunity. So to get that chance and to do it in Tampa, where it's my second hometown, it's where I've lived for 20 years. So it's a pretty special night.
That is awesome. And I know Tampa. I got a friend out there in Melbourne.
Nice. Melbourne's closer to Orlando, but same vicinity.
Got it. Well,
Yeah.
hey, thank you for taking your time to talk to me.
Thanks, man. I look forward to my spaghetti and chili.
Oh yeah, I'll get it for you.
I think the next WrestleMania is in Tampa, right?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah.
How you doing, Christian?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Nice.
All right. I want to know, what would be your dream match today if you could have one? Any
Right.
wrestler, doesn't
Right
matter
now?
who it is. Right now. If you could go against anybody, who would you go against?
Man, you stumped me. I think I'd like to have a match with Aleister Black.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be sick.
Yeah, I think I'd carry him to a good one. What do you think?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
No, I think he's really talented. So yeah, I mean, I think sometimes I think styles make for a great match. I think that's what made Randy Orton and myself have special chemistry, was that we both we worked differently, we had different styles. So sometimes when you get that dynamic, special things happen. So if you ask me off the top, I'm sure there's more, but off the top of my head,
Sure.
right now, yeah, I would have to say him.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Hello, sir.
What up, dog?
Oh, not a lot. Went casual today.
Yeah, it's great.
Sweatpants. I wanted to ask you if you had any good stories about either working with or against the greatest wrestler in the world today, AEW World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho.
I just told a bunch of good stories. Were you not here?
No, I want to hear a Jericho story.
Jericho story?
Not a Screech story.
Man. Let me see. Do I have a good Jericho story?
I figured you might have one going into WrestleMania 20 with the match with Trish in the middle.
Well, you want like a storyline story, or you want
No,
like a,
just
like a
not like a story.
Personal life story?
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, he seems like a pretty entertaining guy to be hanging out with.
yeah, I'm
Backstage.
trying to think of a funny Chris story that I can tell.
Did he ever rib you pretty hard?
No,
Oh.
actually, I ribbed him really good.
Well, let's hear that one.
Actually, this is really good.
All right.
So, this could take a while.
We have 20 minutes, so you're good.
So, all right. So I was off with an injury. I was off for about 3 or 4 months, and I get this call, and so I answer it, and the guy's like, "Hey, man, how are you? This is Lenny Lane from WCW and WWE fame. I heard you got a bad back, and you're getting better." And I was like, "Oh, does everybody know who Lenny Lane is?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm like, first of all, in my head, I'm like, how did Lenny Lane get my number? So anyways, I'm like, yeah, cool, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm getting better. Shouldn't be too much longer on the shelf. I was like, anyway, what's going on with you? Sorry, man, I got to limit this call to 30 seconds. I'll talk to you later. Good luck with your back. And he hangs up. So I'm like, what? What just happened here? So I'm like, who would know Lenny Lane? So I call Raven. So I'm like, Raven, do you have any idea why Lenny Lane would call me and tell me that he hopes my back feels better? And he's like, yeah, I don't know why he would call you. I was like, oh, thanks for the help. So, anyways, I didn't think anything of it. I go back to work in like a month, and I'm sitting there in the locker room. I can see Jericho looking at me, and I'm like, all right. I said, hey, man, what's up? Like, hey. And I could see him like with his grin on his face. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he goes, did you get any interesting calls when you were off? And I went, you mother effer. I said, what happened? He goes, he said, it was late at night, and I was on the computer, and I randomly came across this site where celebrities will call you to give you a wish. And he's like, so I looked at the wrestling, and it was like Lenny Lane and like a couple other like kind of, you get my point. And it was like $15 to have Lenny Lane call me for 30 seconds. So he did it because he knew in my head I'd be like, why is Lenny Lane calling me? So now I'm like, all right, cool. That's a good one. Got me. So couple months later, I'm driving and I get this call and I see the call display. Don't recognize it, so I answer. And I'm like, hello? And the only reason why I knew this is because I had a deaf manager when I wrestled in Detroit years ago, Handsome Johnny Bradford. And he used to call me, and what happened was I guess he had some sort of thing that he typed in, and then a person on the other line will relay you exactly what it is that you're, what they have to say it verbatim, right? So he would call me, and then so I got one of those calls, and I was like, and it was saying like kind of like, things that were uncomfortable for somebody else to tell you, right? So I kind of hung up, and then I'm like, man, so I Google the area code, and it came up as like Minneapolis or something like that. I'm like, who do I know in Minneapolis? Who do I know in Minneapolis? Davari. I call him. I'm like, why are you prank calling me? And he freezes. He's like, I was like, yeah. I was like, you haven't been around long enough to be prank calling veterans, have you? And he's like, he just folded like an accordion. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry. I was like, have you done this? He's like, yeah. I was like, good. And he's like, you're not mad at me, are you? I was like, no, I'm not mad at you, but you're gonna help me get Jericho. And so for months he would call, and we had this fictional character named Gertrude from England that would call him and tell him that she loved his voice. She was a lip reader, but could tell that he was singing to her and stuff like that. And like, so like when we would go on overseas tours, I'd say make the call. So we were on 2 different buses, so we'd see Chris on the other bus and be like, I'll be following the bus, and I'll be at the next thing. And you can see Chris like looking out the window and like close the curtains and like, so that went on for a little while. And to the point where he came up to me, he's like, man, you wouldn't believe these calls I'm getting. I was like, oh no? So he starts telling me about them, and then, so that went on for about 3-4 months.
Oh, wow. Dedication.
Yeah. So then when I was leaving, when I took a hiatus from WWE, the day I was leaving, he's like, we're saying goodbye. He goes, yeah, man, I'll see you around. I was like, yeah. Oh, by the way, those calls you were getting for the last few months, yeah, that was me. And he's like, oh man, you got me. I was like, actually, I didn't. It was Davari, but you can deal with him. I'm out of here. so I don't know what happened after that, but it was that was the story.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man.
Hello.
What's up?
I just wanted to know which you had 2 of the best like theme songs in WWE
Yeah,
history,
I did.
think.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite?
Which one? The Christian?
Yeah, that one and then the one you had after that.
Yeah. I mean, I like them both, but to be honest with you, the one with the Christian.
Yeah.
Christian. So when I first heard that, when I talked about like changing my music and all that sort of thing, I was like, oh yeah, it was nothing like we had talked about, right? So when I first heard it, was in the arena for like, they were playing it over the speakers so I could hear it, and I just saw everybody like turn to look at me like this, and I was like, oh my God, there's nothing like we talked about. And like I was like so like paranoid about this music being bad, and I was like, oh my God, it's horrible. Like, what am I gonna do here? So then I realized, like, when I would go to arenas, people would be singing it to me as I walked into the arena, like, and I was like, oh, this music is so bad that it's good. And I embraced it. I was like, no, man, you gotta embrace this. Like, people, like, you're a bad guy. People are supposed to hate you. They should hate you from the moment your music hits to like, you should have nothing redeeming about you at all, including your music. And it's like, to this day, I'll be like walking in a mall or something, and across the way, somebody will sing it to me, like, without fail. So I mean, like, people remember the music. So that one, I mean, I really grew accustomed. I really like that one, and I like the female version of the last one, just because it was different.
I just wanted to know. I've always liked.
Yeah, no,
those
cool,
songs.
good question. Yeah, I wrote that music in myself on my Casio keyboard.
So you've been in a lot of like WWE memorabilia. Have you ever, you have one that you're like, you looked at it and you go, what the heck is this? Doesn't look like me. Or do you have like a favorite one that you keep maybe in your office or anything like that?
Yeah, I was really bad at collecting my stuff, actually. I got better in the last few years, because I was like, it's kind of pretentious having things of yourself, but then it's like, it's kind of cool, and like, maybe it's something like my daughter would like to have at some point, so I did get better at collecting it. I still don't have like a lot of it, but I have like some of it, so the first action figures were kind of like, that kind of looks like me. But then when they got to the point where they were like, you'd stand in a booth and they'd scan you, and you'd stand there and they'd have this thing going around your head like this, and then you come out and look at the computer screen and it looks like you're sitting right there. It's insane, right? So like, especially even with video games, like, so although when I was in TNA, I had this, they had these big soft toys, and when you squeeze it, it was supposed to give like 5 phrases of yours. But mine, for whatever reason, when I squeeze it, it's Kevin Nash. And it's his voice. They put his voice in my action figure, so that's like my favorite one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever played your 2K or the WWE SmackDown
Man, I'm
vs.
not.
Raws?
I'm not good at wrestling video games. They don't understand psychology. Spot monkeys. Yeah. I like to tell a story. No, I'm just not good at wrestling video games. Like, it's too much button mashing for me. I can't figure it out. I lose more in video games than I did in real life.
You're also in a card game that I think it was in like 2000 Raw deal. Did you ever see that?
I did see it. Yeah, I never played it though. That's pretty cool. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's, I actually had one I needed to bring, but I lost it. I had it signed by Edge. I was going to
Oh, really?
sign it, but,
You think you'll be able to find it? Do you want me to come over and help you?
I mean, if you want.
I feel like that's what you're getting at.
I mean, are you going to be here tomorrow? So
I can use the light on my iPhone. We can like search around. Does everybody else do that? I'm really like a iPhone
we
light
can make
guy.
it a
I'm
team
like,
effort.
man.
A peeps effort, rather.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Hi. Did you have a favorite producer or road agent to work with for your matches?
Yeah. I mean, I always got along well with all of them. Pat Patterson was great. Love, like, he's a genius. Love just kind of like dissecting matches with him and ideas, and you know, he was one of these guys that liked to debate things too, right? Like, if something didn't make sense to you that he was telling you, you know, he never got offended. We're like, I don't agree with you. Well, why not? And then you'd have a discussion about it, and you'd break it down, and then you know, that sort of thing, and vice versa. So I loved sitting down and just talking and picking his brain. I also worked really well with Fit Finley. I have a lot of respect for Fit. He was also one of my favorites to work with. Arn Anderson, you know, so yeah, Michael Hayes. He was pivotal in the ladder matches and things like that. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Actually, really quick, do you think Lance Storm's going to make a very good road agent?
I doubt it.
Okay, so we still have about 5 minutes left, so if you guys have any more questions, now's your chance. In the meantime, you guys are, you know, you revolutionized the anatomy of a match. I was wondering, what would be a match that you would like to see broken down?
Broken down, huh? Break it down. Whenever I hear that, my mind immediately goes there for some reason. Like, break it. Have I ever said, I'll break it down? In my head, I go, break it down. Does everybody else do that? It was just me.
Yes.
I'm such a loser. What was the question again?
Anatomy of a match?
Yeah. I mean, like Flair Steamboat, right?
Oh, that'd be, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
And wait, they're both here this weekend.
Is Steamboat here?
I saw his sign, right? Yeah.
Is he? Oh my gosh.
You can get the live version.
Talk to them both. Actually, I think Flair's sitting beside me.
Yep, he is.
Oh my God.
There's a ring upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
And you're right next to Mick, too, so.
Am I?
Yep.
Okay. I love Mick too.
Same.
My foil, comedy foil.
Yeah.
Legend Christian, everybody remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
Commissioner Foley?
I think at the last convention we talked about you dressing in a chicken suit.
Yeah, we did. Good times.
All right, so this will actually be the final question.
Hi.
Hi.
Is there anything that you miss about being on the road? Like, is it like the audience or just the camaraderie with the other wrestlers?
Yeah, I mean, of course you miss the camaraderie, right? Like you spend a lot of time with the other superstars, the other wrestlers. I mean, you spend more time with them than you do your own family. So yeah, there's that camaraderie and that sort of thing. You know, we do what we do for the shows to get in front of the audience. You know, like you be traveling like overseas somewhere, land, get to a hotel, drop your stuff off, get a quick bite to eat, and then jump on the bus and go do the show. And you're like tired, and you're like, oh man, I don't feel like doing this tonight. And then like you hear the crowd, and it's like a switch. You know, you go out there and you do your thing, and it's like that's why we do it. For that reaction, you know, there's no fans to me like wrestling fans. You know, there's no more passionate fan base to me. And when every time you were out there, like that, like solidified it. Like this is why I do this. And I was doing this interview once, and the guy said to me, "Would you do what you do for free?" And I was like, yeah, don't tell anybody though, because I like getting paid, but, you know. And he's like, so would you, is it safe to say that you basically get paid for the inconvenience of like missing birthdays or anniversaries or events and the travel? I was like, yeah, that's actually the best way I've ever heard somebody make that analogy, that we get paid for the kind of, but the in-ring thing you do for free, you get paid for all the other stuff, you know, that was the best analogy I ever heard, because like there's nothing like being in that ring, nothing like it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we take a big group picture, is there any final thoughts or any theme songs you'd like to sing before we wrap it up?
Does everybody know the Growing Pains theme?
I don't know that one.
I don't know it either. I just was wondering if anybody knew it.
Wonder Years.
Wonder Years? Man, I'm trying to think of one I know. Cheers, yeah.
How about Golden Girls?
I do know the Golden Girls. I do. Do you know it?
Ish.
Ish?
Yeah.
If somebody tell me it starts, I could probably sing the whole thing. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. Thank you. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, so far
Yeah,
so good.
I'm good. I don't remember what happens after that.
Amazing. What a better way to wrap up a Christian
And if
panel.
I threw a party and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. That's all you.
Beautiful. I'm getting verklempt.
God, this is ridiculous. I love it.